So the title of today's presentation is Beyond Adoption, Improving Construction Transport Efficiency by Digitalization. And the agenda for today's presentation is that I will first briefly introduce the topic, and then I will talk about the purpose and scope of this research, and then how the research process remained. And in the end, I will talk about the analysis, findings, and conclusions. So when we search for digitalization in construction industry, so we come across different digital technologies such as BIM, which is building information modeling, modular construction, robotics and automation, digital twin, and so on. And all these technologies are undoubtedly transforming the way the structures are built and designed. But however, when we talk about construction transport and digitalization within construction transport in particular, so it is seldom that we see that a good use of digitalization is being taken place there. And transportation of materials and equipment within construction is still largely a manual process, which means that construction transport has yet to fully leverage the benefits of digitalization. So this thing interests me also, and this highlights a great potential to study digitalization within construction transport. The purpose of this research is to understand if and how digitalization can be used to improve construction transport efficiency. And the scope of my research is that I have only seen the use of digitalization in transport delivery operations, like from the step where we print invoices and do sorting and loading and unloading until the point the material is being unloaded at construction site. I have not studied use of digitalization beyond that, because that is also an area like to use digitalization and to track the materials at the construction site. But I have not done that. I have only studied like the transport delivery operations and how we are using digitalization in that. So in order to fulfill this purpose, I contacted different construction material suppliers who were utilizing digitalization in their transport flow. And luckily, I got the opportunity to study a transport flow of a leading Swedish construction material supplier. So basically, this research is a single case study. And I joined the truck drivers to study their digitalized transport flow on 2 different occasions. So in September last year, I did this data collection, and I joined them for a full day, like the time that they were working. And I observed transport activities performed by the drivers, and I tried to record the time with maximum accuracy. I took the pictures, and I also take notes. And during the observation, I also question and ask the drivers about the activities that they were performing, and also about their views of the use of digitalization. And data I have organized by using a technique of process mapping. And the analytical models that I have used to analyze the data is HTO model, which is basically a human technology and organizational model. And it basically, I will just briefly talk about it, like it shows how interaction takes place among human, technology, and organization. And the other model that I have used is digital maturity levels. So there are 3 levels which we can call like maturity levels. So level 1 is that when there is no use of digital tool and the company is 100% doing their processes manually. And then there is level 2, where we use partial digitalization, like some digital tools are being used, but some are manual processes. And then the level 3 is like when we have like the fully automated system, and this is the highest maturity level. So the delivery process at transporters. So these are like few things that I want to mention here, because then in my coming slides, I will refer to these things a few times. So every driver has been allocated a particular number, for example, 2700, 2701. So they perform all their activities as per the allocated number. So there were 4 drivers, and every driver had its own allocated number. And then the material is stored in 2 ways. So one is stored indoor and the other is stored outdoor. So the packages and small boxes and that kind of material is stored indoor, whereas the construction material, which is big in size, such as pipes, steel rods, they are stored outdoor. And another thing is that all drivers perform all transport activities, from sorting to loading to transporting and printing invoices. And in this case, the digital tool which is being used is a digital scanner. So this is a kind of a process map of transport flow. So the activities that I observed, so I try to map it in this flow. And since there are like so many activities, 20 in number, so I tried to group them together. So in this studied case, there are like paper invoices involved. So printing of invoices and then handing over of paper invoice to the customer, recording deliveries on paper. So I have grouped these activities as administration. And then there is like sorting and scanning of invoices, and then of indoor material as well and outdoor material. The next category is like loading and scanning, and it is also for both indoor material and outdoor material. And then there is transportation, and then unloading takes place at the customer construction sites, and scanning also takes place there. But I will go into further detail of this flow in my coming slides. So here I want to show some of the pictures, because then it will give a very good idea of the process map and the flows. So here we see that there are different paper invoices. So there are like different sections as per the allocated number that driver has. And then the invoices are already being sorted according to that driver allocated number. So previously drivers receive invoices via email. So they print them. Every driver does it by himself, and then they sort them accordingly, according to their allocated numbers, and put them here. And then the other sorting of paper invoices is on the basis of delivery addresses. Then this is a delivery recording sheet where the drivers have to, like, after performing the deliveries, they have to manually record like how many deliveries they have done. And this is also as per the driver allocated number. So here we can see like 2710, 2720. So these are the numbers that have been allocated to different drivers. So this is a digital scanner that is basically being used in this transport flow. And there are 2 types of labels. So one label is that which is used for single item. So on every item, this label is present there. Whereas there is this yellow color label as well, but this label is for the consolidated items. So there are 2 types of labels, and they get like scanned by the help of this digital scanner. Sorting of indoor material takes place. So here are like some pictures, and here we can see that there is like a driver's number, and this sorting. So first the material, when the material comes, so the first sorting that takes place is that as per the driver allocated number. So every driver see, so on every label there is this number. So every driver see like, okay, is it my number? So he picks up that package and place it in his own designated place. So this is how sorting looks like, and it is a whole like totally a manual process. Like they pick up the packages and place it like this. Then the next step of sorting of indoor material is as per the delivery address. So here we can see like these 3 boxes. So they are like placed together because they are having the same delivery address. And then in this picture, we can see like there are like different kind of like clusters of packages. So all these packages are having the same delivery address, and then a driver will plan the delivery route and then pick up and load these packages in his respective deliveries. And also because there is a frequent material handling involved, so we see damages as well. So some of the damages in the indoor material looks like this, whereas the damages of the outdoor material, like such as pipes, also happen because you have to like lift up the material and it's heavy, sometimes it falls, so it's like a lot of handling, and then these things happen, and yeah, damages are there. And now it was the indoor material. So now we also have material which is stored outdoor. So here the sorting of outdoor material is being taken place. So in the truck, the material is placed randomly. So every material again has a label, and on that label there is a driver allocated number. So driver then sort this material and place it at his designated location outdoor. And then the second step is that the sorting takes place on the basis of delivery addresses. So here are some pictures of that show like loading, how it takes place like indoor, so and how it takes place outdoor. So first the driver load the truck with the indoor material, and then he moves the truck and park it close to the material which is placed outdoor, and then load that material there. And then this is a picture showing unloading of material. So unloading of material, which is like small packages. And so unloading takes place like this. Whereas if the material is large in size and heavy, then so the truck also consists of a crane. So the driver uses the crane to unload that material. And another interesting thing is the placement of labels here. So these labels are placed randomly on these items. So here, if we can see, like, so here the label is placed on the lower side of the material, and so it becomes sometimes like hassle for the driver to scan it, because then driver has to lift up the material, and also he has to look like where the label is. So he has to move around the material to find where the label has been placed, so that he can scan it. And also the scanning is also not like that much smooth, so the driver has to like really align the scanner with the label to get the information. So these were like some of the pictures that I wanted to show to have like a little bit like a better view of this transport flow. So coming back to the current process map of this transport flow, so we see like there are like a lot of activities actually. So it starts from like parking of truck at loading dock, and then drivers come and they print the invoice. So as I have already shown in the picture, so sorting of invoices take place on two levels. So first on driver allocated number, and then sorting of invoices take place as per the delivery address. And then sorting of material take place both outdoor and indoor, and they also have like two steps, that is like on the basis of delivery driver allocated number and delivery addresses. And besides this, while performing every activity, driver also do scanning, and they most of the time like scan single items. So they first sort it, and then they scan all the items and also invoices to register them in the system. And then when they load those items in the truck, so they again scan those items to update the status that now these items have been loaded. And when they unload those items, when they go to construction site, so they scan those items again, like these products have been unloaded. And every scanning generates entry in their central ERP system. So yeah, so this is actually like, it looks like a lot of time-taking process and a lot of activities are involved. But if we use the suggested and proposed solution of regarding the use of digitalization within the same flow, then we can see like we can save a lot of time, and that suggested process map will look something like this. So here, basically, the boxes and the activities are the same. So there is no change in that. So we can see like the activities are starting from number 1 and they are ending at number 20. So the blue dotted lines here, they are actually showing the improved flow, which means that, for example, like if the suggestion is like rather than using the paper invoice, if they use the digital invoice, then the driver can directly go from activity number 1 to activity number 4, and the 2 activities, which is printing of invoices and sorting of invoices as per driver allocated number, that those activities will be reduced. So we can skip those activities. And likewise, the sorting of invoices as per driver delivery address, which is activity number 5, and again scanning the QR codes on the invoices to register the invoices again in the system. So that activity will also reduce. So in this way, we will save a lot of time here. And then another thing is that these gray lines, they are basically showing the link between the related activities. So for example, here sorting of material is being taken place. So my suggestion is like if we scan the items also while performing sorting, because already sorting is a manual process. So if we scan it there, so we will we can skip the activity number 11, which is like scanning the QR codes. And this is also true for activity number 7. So then we can skip the scanning of QR codes of the boxes which are placed indoor. And we can directly go from like 8 to then activity number 10. So yeah, so and this will also like help us in saving a lot of time. And these small circles, gray circles with the cross in it, I have used them to show like which activities can be removed and which activities can be redundant. And here also in the end, because drivers hand over the paper invoice when they unload the material and at the construction site, so that activity will also get reduced. And then driver don't also have to record the deliveries on paper, because now everything is being done digitally. So if we see the total time taken in whole this transport flow, so it is 82 minutes. So how I have taken this time? So on those days when I visited, so drivers performed around like 9 to 10 delivery trips. So I have just taken the average of time for all these activities. And it is, I have tried my best to like capture the maximum accuracy of this time, but still it is little bit like of estimations, because I have taken averages of all time. And then it depends upon 2 things, like if there will be more items, so definitely it will take more time to get them scanned. And if the item are also larger in size, so it will take also more time to like load and unload the material and handling of the material. And some of the even indoor packages, they are also pretty heavy. So it also take a lot of time to sort and like to handle the indoor packages as well. But with this suggested flow shown with the help of like blue dotted lines, we can save around 20 minutes. And our flow will just end up here like at activity number 18, and we will reduce 8 activities in this flow. So, and besides this, the scanning also is not that smooth. So it can, if we improve the scanning technology, so that will also help us to save a lot of time, because driver has to like make alignment between the scanner and the label. And besides this, the placement of label, if we kind of like make it standardized, so that will also save a little bit time, because then the driver don't have to like look for the label, like where it is positioned. And imagine like here I am just like talking about 1 or 2 items, but imagine there are like a lot of items, and for every item the scanning and sorting is like taking place. So it is like a lot of job and a lot of like energy and time and resources are being used to perform these activities. So the projected time savings, yeah, so for example, like if I assume that driver performs only one delivery per day, so only the 82-minute flow the driver has performed for one day. And if we take it like for 30 days, so for 30 days, if the driver is performing the same 82-minute flow, so with the current process map, we see that, okay, it will take 164 hours to perform the same activities. Whereas with the suggested flow, we see that the hours will reduce to 124 and we will save 40 hours per month, which is almost a week. And also we will save 10 hours per driver per month. So this is only the time saving that I'm showing, but there are like a lot of like energy, effort, other costs. As it will benefit a lot, and we will save a lot of resources in that, and it will also smoothen and make the operations and make them more efficient. And then the analysis, as I mentioned that I have used two models for the analysis. So one is like a HTO model, and the other is like digital maturity levels. So if I analyze the suggested flow and if I see that, okay, where the human dimension is in this studied flow, and where the technology dimension is, and where the organizational dimension is in this transport flow. So my analysis is that it is at level 2. So one is that they are using both digital and manual process in parallel, and also they is not like very highly automated, but drivers have a good understanding and knowledge of the digital tool, and the technology is also like good. They, although we are talking about like bringing more efficiency, but even if we don't look for the further improvements and further efficiency, so the process is going very fine, and it is way better than the manual process that we also have in many companies. But and also if we talk about the organization level, so the management is also very positive and very encouraging regarding the use of digitalization. So now I will like discuss these dimensions one by one, and I also like want to suggest some improvements, because the ultimate aim is to go from level 2 to level 3. So while talking about the human dimension, so the current state is that the drivers have a good knowledge and understanding of digital tool which is being used. However, employees and workers are not using all the available functionalities. This is because of because they sometimes like feel that they might miss something in scanning. So for example, the consolidated scanning, where like they have like they can group the items and then scan it together. So they mostly, sometimes they do, but in most occasions they think like they feel like, okay, if they miss the scanning of single item, so it will have like a large consequences, because then they have to repeat these all activities again for only that package if they miss that package to scan. But overall, the drivers are like very motivated and willing and positive to use digital tools. The suggested improvement is that room for improvement is always there for employees, and they can improve the knowledge and understanding, and this will help them to increase their confidence and save time and energy. So this will and it will also allow them to use more more functionalities, and they can like experiment with different things and become more resource efficient. The second dimension is technology. So when I talk with drivers, so they didn't show any concern that they, with the digital tool, they are pretty satisfied with the digital tool. And they were very happy that with the help of this digital tool, an automatic notification goes to the customer 20 minutes before the delivery arrival. but they also raised a concern that even though they send this early notification, but in most cases, they find that at construction site, they are sometimes like not prepared for the unloading. So that issue is still there, even though they are communicating to the customer that the delivery is about to arrive. So suggested improvement in this is that more functionalities can be added. For example, if we use digital invoice, so the app can also give suggestions for the planned routes, because right now the driver make the route by himself. And it also depends upon, because the driver knows the area and they have the experience, so they have a very good understanding like which destination will come first, and they arrange their invoices like that and material like that, because they have experience. But if this thing can be done with the help of digital tools, so it will be really good if a driver is driving in a new area as well, where he's not very much familiar of the locations or the delivery addresses. And the other thing is that the unloading instructions can be registered in the QR codes, such as where to unload and the active details of the customers, their addresses, their contact numbers, because sometimes it happens that the numbers given on the invoices are not very updated, and it becomes when the truck arrives at the gate of the construction site to deliver the material, so sometimes it becomes hassle to like contact the concerned person as well. So it will help it. And another thing we can do is like we can standardize the placement of label in some way, and this will save the energy and time. And yeah, it will make the process standardized as well, and it will give like driver have to make less effort in finding the labels and scanning them. Then the third dimension is organization. So here the current state is that the top management is really supportive, and I also had a like discussion with them, and I suggested my thoughts about it, and they were like they were very positive, and they said like they have plans to invest more in technology, and they really want to expand the use of digitalization across their different subsidiaries and in different operations as well. And as I have mentioned this earlier, that all transport activities are performed by all drivers. And we also see that the driver have the training so that they are using the digital tools. They have good knowledge and understanding to use the digital tool. Overall, the culture is very positive regarding the use of digitalization. However, like I can suggest some improvements, that it should be considered that some reorganization of activities can be done. For example, sorting and scanning can be done at the same time that I already mentioned, and even when and there can be other activities which can be like repeatedly done or redundant, so those activities can also be removed. Another thing is that I feel like division of work will be really good, will be really efficient, because right now every driver is performing all activities. So from sorting, printing invoices to sorting, and then loading to transporting and then unloading. And what is happening like in sorting, because it's like a lot of packages, a lot of material, and they are like heavy material. So they perform the sorting in the morning, and sometimes drivers get like exhausted while doing the sorting, because it's manual and there are like really heavy packages and a lot of packages. So if it can be done like this, that two people are just doing sorting and they take care of invoices or other kind of activities, and few people will just only transport the material. So it will also help. And I have also observed the same thing, like different people are doing different things in other of my observations that I made with other companies, where they are like using the same activities and the same transport flows. But yes, there is a room for improvement. It is always like this, and further training can also be provided at organizational level. So the findings of this study transport flow is that, so use of digitalization is being made and it is a level 2 digitalization, which means that both digital and manual is being used. And we see that the value is being added. For instance, we see that the communication has improved. For example, that the 20-minute message notification that goes to the customer. So it has improved the communication of transporter with the customer. And also when we scan, so every scanning generates one entry in the central system. So that also improve communication like within the company as well. So and then information sharing is also improved, because now the person sitting in the office can also see that, okay, what is the status of this order and where this material is. It is being unloaded, it is just being registered, it is being like what is happening in the flow, so they can see. And yeah, so this is also a point to like which leads to transparency. So overall the transparency has been achieved by using like this digital scanner as a digital tool. And this is also very good because they can also see like, okay, this was the order. They can cross check also. So this was the order. So have driver missed any package, or and they can, if the customer asks like what is the status of their order, so they can also inform that your order is at this state. They will reach today. It is in the process. It is already being loaded and it is coming. So overall transparency has improved. So value has been added, but we see that some things are also there like which are not adding value. For instance, like the manual work has been increased. There is so much scanning involved, which is manual, and then sorting is there, which is also manual. So manual work has increased. This is also like leading to the time utilization, because now this manual work is leading to like it takes more time to perform activities. And then it's a increased chance of error is also there. So normally, generally, the notion is that when you use digitalization, so it will decrease the chance of errors. But here we see that it is not decreasing it, like it is rather increasing the chance of error, because if you miss like one item in sorting, one package in sorting, then, or if you count that item in the wrong delivery addresses, so then you cannot deliver that package and you have to make another trip or another route to deliver that package. And if you miss the scanning of one package, or if you unload the package but you didn't scan it there, so it will also raise concern. The customer can say like there can be misunderstanding, like they say like we have not received the item, and then things can happen like this. And overall increased effort and energy has also increased. But the conclusion is then like, so is digitalization being used in the study transport flow? So yes, the digitalization is being used, but then the next question is that, is the digitalization integrated well or not integrated well? So in this case, it is like partial, as we have seen, like we have some value additions, but still there is like some things that are not adding that much value. But in order to reap the full benefit of digitalization, so it is important that digitalization should be integrated well in the existing systems. So it should not be like only that we have adopted the digitalization. It should also be like integrated well. And if there is like no digitalization at all, so definitely there will be like no value addition and no improvement can be brought in construction transport efficiency by the use of digitalization. And then when I say like the integration of digitalization, by that it means is that we should identify and remove the steps, repetitive steps, and the redundancies should be removed. Division of work should be there, and then smooth operations. So it can be like in all operations, but for example, scanning can be improved, because right now the driver hover the scanner a lot over the label. So if it is like very smooth, so just like the scanner just capture the information from label even little bit from far, so it will smoothen the operations. And also it is a very important like to avoid such tools which have limited functionalities, because I have also asked some questions like, why is it that companies start using digital tool, but then they come back to the performing activities manually. So the reason for that is that they said like some tools don't provide complete solutions. So it is like partial, like half of the tasks they have to perform manually, half of the tasks they have to perform digitally. So then in the end, they tend to move towards more of like manual tasks because we are used to perform things manually and in a traditional way. Yeah, so these were all my key takes away, and thank you so much for listening.